So what people don't know, which I did not mention publicly today, is that I started working with Tyrone Parker, who is the founder of the Alliance of Concerned Men, when I was an assistant professor. I was a member of the board. At one point, I was the chair of the board. Um, so I've been involved with the Alliance of Concerned Men for a while. I was part of the Alliance of Concerned Men when Rico Rush was alive. And I knew both Tyrone and Rico. And so Tyrone, to a certain extent, was a mentor and advisor for me. Tyrone and I have had really wealthy, fruitful, robust conversations with a wealth of knowledge that have come out. But we've also had our disagreements about certain things at CVI. But I've always respected him. I've always respected the Alliance of Concerned Men and all the work, that innovative work that he's done in DC as a one of the pioneers in CVI work, not just in DC, but in the United States. And so, I have a long history with ACM. I never really mention it publicly when we're in these spaces because I don't think there's a need to, but, I've been working with Alliance of Concerned Men for a long period of time. This isn't just something that I started doing. So, that said, when we had our seed grant program, and I'm also the evaluator of CVI programs in DC right now, which is funded by Arnold Ventures, and my co-investigator is Daniel Webster. And so the two of us are leading a longitudinal evaluation of CVI programs in DC. And because the Alliance of Concerned Men is under the Office of the Attorney General and Cure the Streets, they're one of our programs in our research studies. So I was able to kind of circle back to this relationship through my research work as an evaluator. And so I've known Terrence for a long period of time as well. When he was as a protege of Tyrone. And so when we started this evaluation, we then kind of rejoined again in our relationship. And when we decided to do this seed grant project, they were the organization that I thought about. And you can see what came out of it. And I really appreciate too, I appreciate Terrence's level of innovation. Like, he's a really sharp, innovative, insightful leader. And so when this idea was presented to him, he was on board, but he also had a lot of thoughts about what can make it better. And I appreciated that. And so that's how we arrived at this space. But, I appreciate his level of insight. I appreciate his thoughtfulness. I think he's incredibly bright and intelligent and has some really novel and innovative thoughts about how to do CVI the right way. And the fact that he was interested in this collaboration already supported what I thought about his approach to CVI and his thoughts about always advancing the work of the Alliance of Concerned Men, because he's always committed to innovation in the field. So it just made natural sense that we collaborated with them. Tremendously, but let me say this, having everyone in this room today, to me, was it was a powerful moment to just see the faculty and everyone that does the work on the ground all in one room discussing how we should figure out the ways that this new technology will impact them. And the CVI frontline staff and the organization just taking the lead role in what that should look like. And as a researcher, this is ultimately for me, just in terms of equity and design justice, this is what we envisioned it should look like. It should look the way it looked today, with us collaborating and there's no hierarchy, there's no power dynamic with the university dictating to the community, this is what you should do. Mm-hmm. It's the community actually telling us, this is what we want to do, and this is what we think you should do. And that's the way that collaboration should look like. And even in terms of the ownership of the data and the MOUs that we were discussing, those are also what we envisioned when we launched Project Progress, and we said we would be focused and prioritizing community engaged research, and that it should be done in an equitable and design justice approach. This is what it embodies. So it's what we envisioned is what you saw today. And I just look forward to the continuation of the relationship, but I'm also really glad that we're on the edge of this really cutting edge technology, which will, again, like gun violence, impact everyone. And it's important that the individuals who do the day-to-day work, who will ultimately be affected by the way that these AI models operate, that they're educated and they're the developers of the models. And so when we said we're very serious about the education and the certification and understanding AI, it's important because they have to be the ambassadors that take that AI knowledge back to their communities. We're not in the community every day to be able to convey, do you know what AI is? Do you know how it works? Do you know how it can work in good ways to improve your community, but it also can work in very negative ways, which can impact your life in terms of the information that comes out of the models. And the models have to be made by people who are culturally sensitive and responsive to the communities. And that's what we're trying to achieve here, is that the individuals who actually make the models are the very same people who live in the communities, are doing the day-to-day work in the communities. Otherwise, we'll just go down the route that we've always gone with, scientists leading the way, coveting the information and knowledge, and ultimately the neighborhoods and communities where they do their work are going to continue to be exploited, as they always have been, by scientists and by universities. And so it's just important that they're leading the conversation, but also we're sharing knowledge. They're sharing knowledge with us, and then we're sharing the knowledge here that we often covet, and we don't provide any level of accessibility to the knowledge and resources that we have at this university. And so to bring all of these thought leaders together, that's the only way that we're going to solve the most pressing problems and challenges of our time.